Now we're going to composite our background that we rendered using the video post queue and the flying logo that our second team made. Remember, our client has asked to have their logo come in over this animation, and the second team developed the animation to meet our client's specifications. Make sure you have composite open. You don't need to do anything if you're continuing from the previous lesson. If not, we want to open the file chapter 12 final comp 01 from the vpost directory of our Understanding 3D project directory. From the main menu, choose the File option, click Open from the File drop-down. Depending on where you copied the directory on your hard drive will depend on where you have to navigate in order to find it. From the vpost directory, highlight the chapter 12 final comp 01 file and then click Open. The first thing we need to do is import our footage. From the File menu, choose the Import option. Again, navigate to the Understanding 3D project directory. Navigate to the Chapter 12 folder in the Render Output directory. Highlight the files while holding the Control key down, Master Sequence, and Text Beaker. Then click the Import button on the lower right side. It's very important that you only click the Import button once. That will import these sequences into the schematic view using what's called a footage node. Go ahead and close the import dialog. Now we need to connect these nodes using a compositing tool that will allow us to use the master sequence as the background and the text beaker as the overlay. Using the middle mouse button, click to activate the Gate UI. Drag the mouse through the Tools gate until the tools on the right-hand side of the screen open up. Click on the Composition Tools category. In the Tools rollout at the bottom, click and drag the Blend and Comp tool out onto the top of the master sequence output. It looks like this. You'll see a tab fly out on the right-hand side of the node. Let go of the mouse button, and it automatically places the master sequence as the background of our Blend and Comp node. The next step is to assign our Text Beaker node as the front of our Blend and Comp node. To do this, click on the Output tab of the Text Beaker node and drag it to the Front option on the Blend and Comp node. That now connects the two footage nodes to our Blend and Comp node and uses the alpha channel of our Text Beaker sequence as a transparency channel. Now we still don't see anything in the composition output window. That's because our Blend and Comp node is not connected to the output. To connect one node to the next, click and drag on the output of the node over to the input of the next node. In this case, we're going from the Blend and Comp over to the output. Now you can see our final composition in the composition output window. If we drag our timeline, you'll see the animation play in the composition output window. But there's one small problem. The logo comes in right at the very beginning of the animation, and we want it to come in near the end of the animation. Before we move on, right-click in the schematic view and select Layout All from the right-click menu. This will neatly organize your schematic view and make it a lot easier to work with. In order to fix our timing problem, we have to adjust the timing of the Text Beaker footage node. First, click on the Animation tab. In the Views option, switch to Tracks. Then, in our schematic view, click the Master Sequence node. Then hold the Control key down and click the Text Beaker node. You'll see the tracks for those two nodes appear in the Animation Editing window. In the Animation Editing window, click in the middle of the Text Beaker node track. Then click and drag to the right until the end marker of the Text Beaker track lines up with the end marker of the Master Sequence track. Scrub the timeline again And you'll see that our logo comes in at the end of the animation instead of the beginning. Now we want to output this to a final sequence that we can convert to an AVI file. To do this, we need to render our sequence out of Composite. First, let's set our render preferences. Click on the Output node, click on the Render tab. In the Format options, click and hold the left mouse button and select PNG from the Format options. You'll notice we have quite a few options that we can choose from. However, no AVI or QuickTime file format. That's because Composite is really designed around a sequence-based production pipeline and relies on other tools to convert sequences to animation files. From the File menu, click Render, and we can see that the range is from frame 1 to 264. The format will be PNG at 640 by 360, 24 frames per second. Our pixel aspect is 1:1, and we're rendering to RGB 32-bit images. You can see the destination path of the output file in the next line. Your output path will more than likely be different than mine, so don't worry about what yours looks like versus mine. Make sure that we have our start frame and end frame correct, and click the Start button. This will render your sequence down to the hard drive. To convert this sequence to an AVI file, you can use 3ds Max to view the image sequence with the RAM player and then save it to an AVI.